welcome to the Still Point podcast. So, our theme this month is the ground beneath your feet. And joining me today is the wonderful Theoni Moraitis. Theoni is a metaphysician, an author, a spiritual guide, but I'll let her explain a bit more what she does. But the reason I asked her to join me today is because I find her to be an extremely grounding person. So, welcome, Theoni.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bless you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining. And I thought it would be good to start off by having you maybe explain just very briefly what exactly it is that you do.
Energetically, I'm your one-stop shop. In other words, I do anything that has to do with astrology, numerology. I do feng shui, Reiki master. I teach Reiki. I teach self-mastery. I also am a tarot and cartomancy reader. Cartomancy is playing cards, poker cards. You read cards with that. What else do we
Mm.
do? Space clearing, anything that's to do with energy, that's me.
Wonderful. Yes, I know. I have only done tarot with you, but it's been quite a few years now, and you are definitely my go-to when I feel stuck in any which way. And we've just had a chat about me doing an energy clearing as well. But I was thinking that, working in the space that you're working in, and it's obviously it's quite esoteric and that kind of thing, but I would imagine that working with people, dealing with people's energies, and obviously people consult you when they feel, a little shaky or that they're needing. So it would make sense to me that you would need to be quite grounded in yourself, that you would need to be quite centered for a session. How important is it that you are grounded and centered?
Extremely important. Anybody that you are working with, anybody that you go to for any kind of guidance or consultation, you need to be available. You need to be present. And if your own energy is flustered and all over the show, then you can't really be available and present for your client. So it is extremely important. And I do a daily cleansing and chakra balancing for myself. I do that daily. And I also cleanse the space that I'm in each time I complete a session with a client. So I prepare the space that I'm in before I even start with the next person. So that's
Hmm.
super important, super important.
Yeah. Well, my next question was actually going to be how do you ground and center yourself? But you kind of answered that. But I suppose then that would lead me to if it happens that you're having a day where you are not particularly feeling very grounded, do you take any extra measures, or what do you do when you yourself are not necessarily feeling grounded? Or does that not
You
happen?
know, it's such a good question because so far it has not happened. I'll tell you why. Because when you ground yourself, you're grounding into Mother Earth. I'm going to give you a lovely exercise to do. And when you ground yourself into Mother Earth, remember, Mother Earth is the one that absorbs all our negativity, but she is also one that gives us so much energy. So when I work with people, I myself am not doing the work. I never see myself as the person doing the work. I always feel guided, and I give permission to my guides to speak through me, act through me, think through me, so that whatever wisdom comes through, it's through spirit and not necessarily myself. So that's why it's not tiring. And that's why it's not something that exhausts me, because it's not,
Mm.
I'm just a channel, really. At the end of the day, just a channel. I would love to be able to share with you something that is beautiful. I work with archangels. I don't know if you would be happy with me to share a little exercise that we could
Of
do.
course,
Okay,
100% would
good.
love that.
So one of the things that I do when I wake up in the morning and go outside and take the dogs for a pee and a poo, it's always at sunrise, which is so beautiful here on the island. Um, so the first thing I do is I do like this salutation to the sun. So you put your hands together and you greet the sun, and I also then throw myself over as much as I can, throw myself over because bending is such a story at my age. But I throw myself over and I greet the earth. So I greet the sun, I greet the earth, and then I call in the archangels. And this is what I say. I say, good morning, archangels, left, right, above, below, behind, and in front of me. Thank you, Archangel Metatron, for showering your magnificence all around me. And I imagine that energy on top of me because Archangel Metatron is the Archangel of the Soul Star. So it's about 30 centimeters above your crown. And he's got this beautiful magenta orange color. So I imagine this Archangel Metatron showering me with his magnificence. And it's like standing under a shower. And
Mm.
then I say thank you to the Archangel Sandalphon, who then is the guardian of our Earth Star chakra. And I say thank you, Archangel Sandalphon, for reconnecting, rebalancing, and restoring my Earth Star chakra. I imagine standing above an upside down pyramid with the yin yang black and white light because it's the color black and white, the Earth Star. And I imagine tree-like roots growing out the soles of my feet through purple filters of protection,
Mm.
grounding me 1.5 meters into all the goodness that is Mother Earth. All the goodness of Mother Earth because she also absorbs negativity. 1.5 meters into Mother Earth because the core of Earth is fire. Nobody wants to, explode internally. So we just 1.5 meters is enough grounding. And then I say, thank you, Archangel Michael. And I imagine him on my right-hand side. He's got a deep, beautiful purple blue vibration. I say, thank you, Archangel Michael, for your protection. Imagine him with a sword of light. And then I say to my left, thank you, Archangel Raphael, vibrant green energy of Archangel Raphael. So I thank him for his miracles and his healing. In front of me, I say thank you to Archangel Gabriel, and I thank him for his wisdom and his guidance. And behind me, I have Archangel Uriel, and I thank Archangel Uriel for his abundance and prosperity. And that is it. I've evoked all the
Wow.
important, they're all important, archangels, but there's a beautiful grounding. You've called in all kinds of energy that you want and need for the day, and I do it every single day, every single
Wow.
day,
Without fail.
without fail, every single day.
Every single
And
day.
it works for me, it works beautifully because I know what my intention is. And that's important when it comes to grounding, Nikki.
That's
What
actually what I
is
was going
your
to say, is it's the intention, right? Because everything sort of starts with intention.
absolutely? And then your responsibility is to commit to that intention. We're very
Mm.
good at making intentions, but we never follow them through. So the responsibility then lands on you to
Mm.
be committed to what your intention is. That makes a
Mm.
big difference.
Mm. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. Wow, I love that. And I think that's incredible. How long have you been doing this particular practice every single day of your life?
Sure. What year are we in? 2026. About 20 years.
That is
About 20.
incredible. That is
About
absolutely, I
20
mean,
years.
that makes sense then why you are, you know, as soon as I thought of this month's theme, I thought of you because to me, you're very grounding. Even when I do a session with you, I feel very grounded. You have a very calming presence. And that absolutely explains it. And to be honest with you, when I asked you, what do you do when you're not feeling particularly grounded? I was not for a second expecting you to say that never happens because, but of course it must happen. But that's really quite remarkable. So you are literally the perfect person to be talking to. Um, the other thing I thought of course, is that you and I have both done a thing. We both uprooted ourselves, our lives in South Africa, and moved to Europe, you to Greece, me to Portugal. So I thought we could talk a little bit about the literal, actual ground beneath our feet, changing. So I was wondering, and especially now that you've shared what you've shared, now I'm even more curious. How did that move? Did that move change anything for you energetically? Was it hard to find your feet immediately? Yeah.
Such a good question. Because it is a huge uprooting. And I have experienced my family's experience because I've done this a few times. I've moved to Greece a few times. So
Okay.
it wasn't anything new to me. The biggest um the biggest stress point for me was our dogs. That and I was
Mm,
super surprised at myself because I don't see myself as an anxious person. I'm
mm.
rarely ever stressed. But all of a sudden, I had these two little beating hearts that I was super concerned about their flight and how would they be without me? They've been 8 years in my office with me 24/7. They're well in bed at night with us in bed. So they've been with us all the time. And now they're about to embark on this trip, which took 3 days traveling. That was my biggest stress.
Mm.
And
Oh.
I felt it in the body, which was interesting. I
Mm.
I didn't have thoughts or anything so much, but I felt
Mm.
stress in my body. I kept going, what is this? Like, what is this
And
that I'm feeling?
where?
What is this? Yeah, what am I feeling? I went, oh gosh, oh, this is concern. Oh yeah, this is, are they going to be okay? What are they going to be thinking? And so I had a lot of
Mm.
animal whisperers talking to my dogs as well and working with them. I'm glad to say everything is obviously grand and we arrived. And the
Yeah.
changes that you've asked me about have been about other people's experiences and them. And I think I've been the one that's been holding the space.
Okay.
My husband's South African. He's never been to Greece in his life. I've just uprooted his entire life and brought him to Greece, where he does not speak the language. And I see him a little bit. You see him a bit stressed, but we do what we have to do, and
Mm. I'm
there's
sure
no
he'll
drama to
settle.
it. Yeah. And also grounding. I always tell him you have to ground yourself. Just let's go to the
Yes.
grass and, touch the tree and imagine the roots of the tree and what it's like to stand next to this tree who has roots. And, you go into imagination, and that's the best thing to do is make sure that
Mm.
you ground. I love the fact that you and Bridget have just actively gone on this massive adventure. You've actually gone and explored the land that your feet are on, which is
Mm.
also extremely grounding.
Oh, it is. I mean, we can't wait for our weekends because we literally get to put our feet down and go and explore, whether it's a little village or these beautiful nature paths and hikes and trails and mountains and forests. And oh man, it is so grounding. It is so grounding. And when we get back from a hike, there's just nothing like it. You just feel so connected. You feel so at peace. Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. But I also wanted to say, I wanted to ask you first of all, where in your body you felt it when you were feeling stressed about your animals, and also to say that I'm so with you. I also don't see myself as an anxious person. But when I had dogs, if my dogs got out, I had a husky and she used to flip and climb fences and dig holes. And
Oh,
that was the,
mm,
the one thing that could get me stressed. And then bringing my cat here was a totally different new stress. It's so because you have no control and you can't explain it to them. And oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about where in your body you felt it because you said it was a body thing.
It was a body thing, yeah. And I felt it in my solar plexus. So, knowing about energy and how it functions, I knew it was a fear. So your solar plexus is the first place you feel anything before it goes to your mind. Even thought energy enters your solar plexus first before it goes anywhere.
Mm,
And
mm.
through our busy disc, we either deal with it or don't. And it was in my solar plexus. So I totally got that it was fear of the unknown and fear that they think I'm abandoning them and all these other wonderful things that we tell ourselves. But definitely, where was yours? Where was your anxiety?
I always feel it in my solar plexus. I know a lot of
Yeah,
people feel stuff in their heart space or in their throats or whatever. But for me, my solar plexus is what does talk to me. And then because I've always had an issue, I mean, I'm way better now, but with not speaking up, not saying what I mean, etc., like from a kiddie. I also very much feel things in my throat, or used to, but definitely not so much anymore. And I must say, getting older and learning more about all of this stuff, it's like the awareness is such a powerful thing because as soon as you're aware that, for instance, you feel ungrounded or you feel unsettled, then you can do something about it. But if you're just on autopilot, it's so hard to even know where to begin. My talk this month was about 2 Fridays ago, where Bridge and I were driving to a nearby town. We don't drive, she doesn't drive far without me. We do everything together because I don't drive and she doesn't want to navigate and drive. So we are so codependent, it's hilarious. But I thought I was going to have the Friday off and I'd been working so hard and I was fatigued, like beyond. And then this client said, "Oh, by the way, can you meet our client at 3 p.m. and can you prepare this for it?" So then it was a matter of now we were about to leave. I had to take my laptop and I'm going to work in the car and everything. And in the car, I literally thought that cars were aiming for me. I was so ungrounded that I thought there were about 17 accidents about to happen. And Bridge kept going, "What?" And I'm like, "Sorry, you were very close to that truck." And it's just crazy because I was so tired, I hadn't found the awareness and what to do about it yet. So when Bridge went into her appointment, I sat in the car and I just breathed and I was like, "This is what's going on for you. Everything's under control." It changed everything. But just sitting in that car before I had done that, oh man.
Amazing. You know,
Yeah,
we've been programmed to be doers, Nikki,
hmm.
and our default program is to do. So while we're in the doing, all this crap's going on and we don't know what to do with it. But look at you, you stopped and you became the being. So it's about being still. That's all that you did. That awareness is so valuable,
Yeah.
so valuable.
No, it really is. And our community, the Still Points community, is a lot of the women there are very busy, juggling all sorts of things, juggling whatever it might be, kids and jobs and all sorts of things. So I would love to know from you what maybe you have one or two that kind of sort of energetic reset that you would suggest for grounding when you're feeling a little bit all over the place like I was. I mean, for me, it was just about having a little chat to myself and taking a few breaths and just
Yeah.
setting that intention to just chill and know everything's okay. Yeah, what are some things that you might recommend in that situation?
Look, the self-talk is, I mean, could it get any better? Self-talk. You talk yourself into a crappy situation, you can do exactly the same to take yourself out of a crappy situation. So self-talk is always my go-to. My
Mm.
second go-to is tapping. So I
Okay.
would take my the 4 fingertips on each hand, and tap just under my collarbone. Because what it does is it tells the body, oh, oh,
Mm.
something's happening. What's happening? Oh, what's happening? Oh, it's coming to the surface. What is this? What is this? And you'll notice there'll be all sorts of thoughts, or you might feel, oh, okay, that's calming me down a little bit now. The tapping is awesome because it tells the body, I can just calm down. It takes the mind off the craziness that's going on in the head, and it puts all the attention back to, oh, have I got under the collarbone? Oh, is it oh, I tapped the bone, maybe it should be, and all of a sudden your mind's being distracted, and that's all it takes. All it
Mm.
takes. Quick
Just
little
drawing
distraction
away from the mind and to the body.
into the body, because it's the body that holds everything, all the
Hmm.
information. It's the
Yeah.
thinking that gets us into trouble, thinking always gets us into trouble. So we need to find ways that work for us to stop the thinking.
Mm.
So it's things like tapping. I mean, to this day, I still use tapping if I can't name my feeling. If I can't identify the feeling, I know it's there and it feels uncomfortable and I'm not sure what it is. I use tapping on the body. I use the actual technique There's a beautiful technique. You can get it on YouTube. It's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique Tapping. Lots of stuff there. You can go and Google, see what resonates with you and use it. But that's my go-to.
Mm.
I mean, the other day I was sitting here in my office going, I don't know what this feeling is. It's so weird and so strange. And I don't know if I've had this before. And I literally just tapped under my collarbone because I was going to have a client in about 10 minutes. And it was, I'm homesick. How funny was that? I was like, what?
Oh,
I'm homesick. Ah, Lumina, look at that. I'm homesick. And that was that. As soon as I felt it, and as soon as I named it, it disappeared, which is what happens with feelings. That was great. Tapping
amazing.
is
So you
amazing.
just tapped and the answer came because you were
Because I do
pulling
it
yourself
so
out of your
I
head.
use it. Yeah, I use it
Mm.
often. I use tapping often. And because I use it often, I'm super aware of the things that are coming up because I know it's in the body. And I also know that I want to be prepared for my next person. And before I can get there,
Mm.
I make sure that whatever's going on here that wants to distract me is no longer present. And that's
Mm.
feelings. Feelings just want to be acknowledged. Once they're acknowledged, they duck. They're going to have a
Yep.
party and come later.
I love that. Yeah, I've never tried tapping, but I do I don't like feeling unsettled in any way. I'm someone who just wants to go through life feeling happy, feeling chilled, which is how I feel 99% of the time. But so when I also have that feeling, I call it omgekrap. Like, why am I feeling omgekrap? Something is not like something, but for me it'll just be thinking like, no, think about it now. What's put you in this frame? And I'll find it fairly quickly, but I'm definitely going to try that because I can imagine I am in tune with my
The
body, so I can
body,
imagine that doing that will
that's it.
actually really help. Mm,
It does. It supports it because remember, the body stores the energy.
love
So you
it.
can think about it, but you don't know if you've missed a thought because it's unconscious mostly. And it might have gone and settled somewhere like, on your left or somebody else's left shoulder and in the back because it's, familiar. So
Mm,
you really need to make sure that your body is in tune. It's got to be in alignment, otherwise your body's out
mm,
of integrity and out of alignment. And, that's when the
mm.
shit hits the fan usually. Excuse my
Yep.
French.
Well, that's why I'm
Yeah.
coming to you for an alignment, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Really looking forward to
Yeah.
that.
Good. Me
Um,
too.
s yeah, no, I definitely want to do that. So, let me just check our time. Yeah, we've got a couple minutes left. So if you could leave any woman who is listening to this chat with one single thought or one single practice to help them find the ground beneath their feet this month, what would that be?
So I would definitely do the grounding. Like you can skip all the archangel stuff, but you can just imagine that your feet have roots that are grounded through filters of protection, Mother Earth goodness. You can do that little practice. But I think, our biggest asset is self-awareness. So you got to ask yourself, what am I committed to today? Because you might be unconsciously committed to complaining about the weather. And you might be unconsciously committed to being dissatisfied. And so everything pisses you off and nothing works. So the good question to start getting into practice with is what am I committed to today? Because that creates a self-awareness. And you go, oh, look at that. That's going against what I committed to. Okay, so I can definitely change that. That would be
Mm.
my numero uno. What are you committed to?
I really, really love that because I do sometimes often set intentions for my day or whatever the case may be. But now that you're saying this, I realize that today I'm committed to complaining about being tired.
And it's not, it sounds like such a small thing, but to the body,
Mm,
it's a very big thing because the body sets itself up to send through all the soldiers and the nurses and the doctors that need to repair. And then they're looking for stuff because now they're lost and they're not sure where this tired is. What is this
mm,
tired?
mm,
So
mm,
then they decide, oh, it must be here. And so you start thinking, oh, it must be on, the left ankle or something. It's going to find a place to put your tired.
mm. Yeah. I love that. I think that's amazing because it's so unconscious. You don't know that you have actually made a little contract with yourself that today is going to be a day for dissatisfaction, or today is going to be a day for complaining about fatigue, or having a bad attitude, or blaming yourself or blaming other people or whatever it is. So that again, that awareness and that intention
Just that
together, wow.
and I'm not at all saying that you should ignore how you feel. And that's what's so beautiful about self-awareness, because when you are self-aware and you can name and identify your feeling, that no longer owns you. And when it no longer owns you, you can carry on with your day. But as long as you ignore it and pretend it's not there, reject it, dismiss it, it owns you. And
Mm.
so it runs your day, your life, your weeks, your months, your years. So the more self-aware you become, the more conscious you are about the commitment that you're making for today, the more you have the freedom to change the things and therefore change your life.
Mm.
Because that's what it is.
Mm.
All good and well to ground yourself. But what are you doing? This takes work. I wish it
Mm.
was as easy as one, two, three. It's not, it's very simple as one, two, three. It's definitely not easy though, because we have a default program,
Mm-hmm.
and that's to suffer. Our default program is suffering. And so we always go to it somehow.
Mm. Yeah, I so agree with you. I so know what you're saying. It's such interesting stuff. And oh man, I've really, really loved this conversation. Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for having me. I'm so excited that we got to do this.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. I'm sure that a lot of people are going to find it extremely interesting and valuable. And if you want to find out more about what Theoni does, I'm going to put the link into the comments on the where the podcast is. Go and check her out. She is wonderful. As I say, I have been seeing her for many, many, many years, and I would highly recommend it. Tiani, thank you once again
Bless
so,
you.
so much.
Thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you for all your kind words. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, afternoon. What time is it? Evening. And lots of love to Bridge from me. And lots of love to everybody listening to this. I trust that you're all enjoying Still Point as much as I am.
Thank you so much, Tiani. Have a beautiful afternoon.